remember, crazy because one penalty missed and a goal by the same player. Mm-hmm. Remember something like Messi has done before, and that's what a good player and great player is capable of doing.
They were made to work for it a bit in the first half. Kylian Mbappé missed a penalty that took years to decide that in fact it was a pen, but in the end it's irrelevant because France, the better side, they proved that over the 90 minutes. Kylian Mbappé with a brilliant goal, Dembélé making it 2-0. France thoroughly deserved the victory and are through to the semis. Colin Udo joins us. He'll be giving us the angle of AFCON, of course, the last side to leave the World Cup now from the Federation is Morocco. We'll be hearing from him in a moment. But overall, Frank, your team are really good.
Yeah, they were very impressive, I have to say. If I were you, I would be disappointed. I'm French, so I'm happy, but the game wasn't that spectacular because I'm disappointed by the tactic that maybe the coach put on in the Moroccan side.
What was the tactic?
I don't know, but what it was, waiting, being patient, and maybe try to get a little bit of a counter-attack, but nothing happened. They were never were in control of the ball. They were they are more positioned than the French, but they didn't do anything much with that. So maybe it's impossible to do it with France. We're going to see maybe against Spain in
Belgium
in the semi-final, but there wasn't even a match, and that's insane. And remember, crazy because one penalty missed and a goal by the same player. Mm-hmm. Remember something like Messi has done before, and that's what a good player and great player is capable of doing, forgetting the mistake that they made and correcting it. But overall, yeah, everything is perfect. Even I was watching at the back how Upamecano and Saliba again were working, and they were so sovereign. They knew exactly what to do, and they were in control of everything. And France had a 100% control for me of the game, and that's insane because we would have thought that Morocco, and I said that before, that they would have showed something different from 4 years ago. But it didn't exist because of the talent of the French players.
Two pathetic attempts to beat the French. Paraguay and Morocco. Semi-understandable from Paraguay. That's their stick. Defending, gritty, good defence, lacking a little bit of quality going forward. Morocco, at least, with their players, they've gone out of this tournament wondering what might have happened. They tried another team that tried to defend their way into the quarterfinals and beyond, and it just failed. And there was more to this Moroccan team. I'm not suggesting they're France. I'm not suggesting they can outplay France. But man, you got to get out your half.
Right.
You don't wait till you're 2-0 down before you start, trying to squeeze France back. So I really, and I mean this, and it made it such a poor game to watch.
Yeah.
For France it was very comfortable, and they just turned on the afterburners when they wanted. But from a Moroccan perspective, playing like that, I'm glad they're out.
To be completely honest, Morocco's performance was extremely underwhelming and a massive surprise to me, especially given their strong form this year and their historic 4th place finish at the 2022 World Cup. France, on the other hand, came out with all guns blazing and delivered an absolute masterclass. Every single one of their stars, and they have an abundance of them, was at their absolute peak, physically, technically, and mentally. The shooting stats in particular are a clear testament to that. Mbappé and Dembélé completely put the game to bed. Frankly, I had predicted a narrow victory for Morocco, so what actually happened was a massive shock to me. Morocco's display was abysmal across the board, offensively, defensively, and tactically. What's your take on this?
I almost feel a bit sorry for Morocco in that I think they wanted to press, and at times they tried to press a bit higher up, but France just kind of passed through that pressure, and as a result, they end up just sitting deep. And then they sit deep, and you've got Olise and.
But what about when Morocco had the ball?
No, but
they had one shot in the first half.
My point being that everything they tried to do, France had an answer for.
Yeah.
And so had to try to figure out, well, how do we get the better of this France team, and just kept coming up blanks. First of all, I have to say, nothing about this game felt like 52% possession from Morocco. It felt.
Is that what it was,
It was 48 France, 52.
They had more position than France.
It felt like France had the ball all the time.
Yeah.
But the stats say so I guess we have to believe it. And that is, and I guess that is part of my, again, maybe sympathy with Morocco in that everything they tried, France had an answer for. And as a result, they just kind of revert to kind.
Well, see, you are being kind because I'm up until they were right towards the end when they knew they were out. I don't remember them trying anything. I really don't. That first 45 minutes was...
Well, they tried a little bit with Brahim Diaz on the side, with Hakimi on the right side. They've tried, but it's true that defensively the French had an answer to every danger, and that's what it is. You know what? I'm wondering right now if it's not the best French team ever right now.
Yeah,
because they are...
Coming from you, Frank, that says a
Well,
lot.
no, but that's it says a lot, of course, you know, because I'm very proud of what we achieved in '98, but everywhere, and they are classy, and they work hard together, and they have every tools needed to win a World Cup. They perfect everywhere, even in the attitude. They're great. They're humble. They work hard, but they accept the decision of the referees. They respect the opponents. Really, that team impresses me a lot.
Yeah. But now put yourself, all of you who said that Morocco was not trying, put yourself in the shoes of the coach for Morocco. You see what we were just right now talked, how good France is, how what
do you
can
mean?
hurt
You think he would be frustrated?
It is. I think he came out with a match plan that he said we cannot try to play with them. True. Because of the truth is, everybody can see it, that France is the team right now in this tournament who has to be beaten to win the World Cup. So, if you go out with them, especially in the transition with Mbappe, Dembélé, they wait for that. They wait. Morocco can. I agree with this when I say when you guys say Morocco can try more in their showed it already. If on stage in World Cup or in Africa Cup, but still it's still against France.
It's true. But the way you're saying there were no solution.
I'm not sure this French team's as good as you're making out.
Really?
I mean, the front line, yes.
I don't know, Craig. On paper, this is the best team in the World Cup, and it's not even a discussion.
No, but he's talking about France in general.
Ever?
No, not in general.
I'm looking at the back line and I'm looking at the middle. The middle of the park is good. It's not spellbinding. It's not.
Yeah, maybe with Petit, Vieira, and Deschamps, that was maybe better.
You're talking Lizarazu and
Lizarazu and
I'm leaving him out.
Thuram,
and Blanc.
Thuram. Yeah, leave me out. I was on the bench.
A lot of our younger viewers don't even remember that. So
Yeah.
You don't have to push forward. You don't have to, you know.
No, but my point is, if you just worry about the front four, then you'll never sleep at night.
Sure.
Right. You're already beaten before you get to the ground. You're worried about that front four, and I get that. We've all played against world-class players with great pace, great skill, and it's a difficult scenario.
Yeah, but the thing...
But you look at the middle of the park and the defence, look at Digne Aston Villa, he's a solid left back. He's not...
No, of course not.
So there's areas you can get at the French team, is my point. You can't just...
Yeah, but
I don't think you can go into a big quarter-final just solely worried about what France might do to you.
That's true, but the thing is, before the World Cup, we were wondering, you know, about the centre-backs and what would be the best pair, and we found it. And those players are compensating all the mistakes from, could be Digne or Koundé. They're everywhere there. And on top of it, Rabiot and Kone that game, but it could have been Chouameni. They know how to do the job as well and to cover on the side. And everything is perfect. The tactic, the way they think the game and they work, is why it makes me think that they're very, very good. But to go back to Morocco, and I put that in another level because I think Argentina is not the same level than France. But Cape Verde, they tried. At least they tried something.